Yes, thank you so much for joining me. I have loved reading your book. I thought it was so interesting and fascinating to me.
Have you all got my book now?
Yes, yes,
Mm.
yes. I've got
Okay.
a PDF of it in advance.
Okay.
Could you tell us a little bit about your story and your story of how you came to become a monk and leave Tibet? Could you share a little bit of that with us?
If you read my book, but I'll repeat this again. In your part of world, I am very backward and primitive human being, because where I was born, you can see also in the book, the village I was born, it only happened to be 12 family. And it's very deep inside the camp, quite forest, mountains everywhere, and the forest between two big rivers. When they meet together, go down to China, and they Vietnam call it Yukon River. It's a massive river, and it's a very mild climate. But when the Chinese came, they cut up all the big trees which have been there for 1,000 years old. So in the picture, you won't see those big trees. But when in that part of the world, because there was no road of any kind, people never go out from their little sort of safe place. And they even never bother know anybody outside. So it's the 1959, the Chinese force have taken over our part of the world. If you see if you look into now called capital of Kham, called Chamdo, it's a massive build-up, very big building, like almost like European city. I'm only 15 kilometers from that. And then gradually going to my brother's monastery, learning from him, very strong. He was a very strong regime because he was the head of a monastery. So when I grow up, I'll be helping him to run the monastery. So young people are very highly disciplined because they themselves have no wisdom to put up effort to learn things. So it was very tough. And I have never appreciated that. And also where his monasteries, if you look into called Tawadoma, one of the highest place in Tibetan plateau, is it 15,000?
15,000 feet.
Yes, it's 15,000 above sea level. So it has no tree, can't grow any trees. And always it's a very barren land. But Tibet is a very massive country. So it's like as far as you can see plateau. And then there's a massive snow mountain behind the monastery called Kulakonya. So then there's also many wild animals running around because llamas never kill them. Llamas become the environmentalists, means nobody else can kill them. So they're very free to run around. And then at 59, when we are forced out of this, we have to then leave everything we have. I have never met my family, and we have to run towards Lhasa because we think that's where Dalai Lama used to be. We think it would be a safe place to go there. But as soon as we are more or less closer to there, then they says Dalai Lama has escaped to India. So then we have to turn backward. The only way is where we escaped is almost very close to Burma, Brahmaputra River. So in India now it's called Assam. Brahmaputra River is one of the biggest, longest river in from Tibet, coming from Tibet, goes all the way from there to India, to Bangladesh. So that we follow toward that river. But due to somehow Chinese knowledge of us escaping, we have to cross in the night in the kayak made by very small leather kayak. It only take 4 or 5 people. And we crossing because it's very light to carry. And we have to cross in the night because daytime it's impossible. That area is already liberated by Chinese. So we will never be able to escape. So the only way is to cross the night. But in the beginning, because we have a very high Rinpoche, we call precious lamas, from 5 different monasteries. These 5 Rinpoches, and I'm the youngest brother of Rinpoche, and one of the lamas attendant. We are the first one to cross, but we thought we crossed, and then my brother and other people went back to others. The Chinese start to shoot us, and then I was so young, and I never actually confronted guns and people shooting, but this High Lama's attendant, he come from very far away from Kham. He knows. He says, now we really have to escape for our life. Chinese shooting us. So they will be carrying like 11 Tumba means 11th century relics, very precious. He divided two, one put on my neck, one he took, then he took my hand. We start cross this, but we didn't know there is another sort of place where there's plenty of water. We didn't see this before. So it's the middle of winter, very, very cold. We have to cross this. So I'm wearing very, lambskin coat. That's what we wear. So when water went almost up there, we cross. And then as soon as we got out there, we have to go into like shade side of mountain. Sheer snow everywhere, so cold. But if you're so terrified of death and Chinese, we never managed to die. So few of us went up there to hide under the big, big old trees, a trunk. And then Chinese are shooting everywhere, going everywhere. And then out of 300, only 15 people escaped. Remaining, they caught everybody. That's one of my oldest brother. He was also caught. And then they take him to a camp, and they tied it every man back, and the women are saying, you people should go and beg some provision. And this man, all of you have to go to build motor road for Chinese, forced labor, and they have to look after themselves. They want to feed you. If you really watch, emotion is all repetition. I call spinning wheel. You know, engine is not running, but the wheel is running. So most people get so emotional going to the past, or the bad experience they had, or they trying to sort of get hold onto good experience. Same thing again, same thing again, same thing again. There is no meaning. Some get stressed, you bring the future suffering. So you have no clue what is waiting for you. You have no clue tomorrow whether you'll be wake up alive or dead. Still, you manage to think all your planning. So in your culture, language says you have to plan everything. You can never plan. All of your plans say you plan to find a nice partner, thinking it will be the life you want to lead, the very nice partner, no problem, having nice children. It doesn't happen with choices. It's very few find that dreaming partner. But even you get, very soon your monkey mind is so bored so easily. You're looking faults instead of quality you saw in the beginning. So when you start to look other people's fault, you get into a lot of problems. But my method to all of your listeners is, when they sit too long, when you have no control over your mind, having plenty of time is a disaster, because then you get into difficult. So what I suggest is, if you are locked in, you have plenty of time. Pick up new habit. If your neighbor, if your land, start do gardening, planting your need for food. Go jogging. When you're really jogging, that time you're not thinking of the silly things. Always think, when will I be free from this emotional disturbance? The day you manage to think others more than yourself, your problem's gone forever. It's me, I, my likeness, my need. I'm happy, I'm not happy. It's I. I is the root of every human being's problem. There's no Eastern I or Western I. I is a root. So if you look inwardly, okay, this I is causing so much failure, disturbance. I look inwardly and investigate, where is this I? The minute you look inwardly, you will never find this I. There isn't anything called I. Then you will start to really dismantle this solidity of I. So even if we are very learned in culture, religion, all the Dharma texts, these people will not have enlightenment. Who will have enlightenment or who become Buddha are people who are able to look inwardly, never in the past, never in the future. If you stay in the moment, that is called Buddha. There isn't Buddha out there, solid body form. So the minute we lose that, then you're going back to samsara. You're going into spinning. So if you do a lot of years like routine like me, then I can see meaningless of this repeating again. Same thing. There's nothing new. So I start to feel really sort of giggly, thinking, what's stupid? There isn't anything we need to be worried, because there isn't anything to chase. So you all out there, learn to be in the present, not in the past, not in the future. Present, 5 seconds, try again, 1 more second, 3 more seconds. It's like block building, new habit building. So gradually you feel more joyful, you feel more confident, you feel self-respect, you feel really a lot of compassion toward those people who have everything, still they're miserable human beings. If you say, okay, we are thinking people who are billionaire, millionaire, whoever, everything, they should be happy. They're the most lonely, most miserable human being you ever see. That should teach you money isn't the one which makes you happy. Relationship isn't what makes you happy, because they're all impermanent. Means nature is changing constantly all the time. Sometimes you're happy with your partner, sometimes you're not happy with the partner. Wealth sometimes it become useful, sometimes it brings you downfall. Nowadays, it should be, we call, interconnectedness of the world around us. This disease has no respect to wealthy people. It is very discriminating. Every life form in this planet of Earth, we have to suffer. Why? Human beings violated all the rules of the, we call, ecosystem. We abused Mother Earth. We have been good in abusing each other. We've been plundering the resources of Earth, polluting river, and also rich becomes greedy, and they have never satisfaction. Poorer become poorer. They don't have a plate in the food. They don't have a clean water to drink. All these plastic bags, all these pollutions in the river, sea, it is killing a lot of wildlife. But due to this disease, there is a side benefit. I was told ozone layer is much more cleaner than ever before. Not people are able to travel in cheap, silly aeroplane, which is responsible for all this disaster. So I echo you. Future, our whole world will be changed for better. We'll be needing less, wanting less. Everybody learn to take care of each other. Like these times, there are so many decent human beings. Those nurses, they give their life to save other life. That is called part of Bodhisattva. So there are so many decent lives. So I would like everybody who's listening to me involving environment improvement, like Samyeli. Every bit of land I have, I've been planting trees. My sanghas saying they're happy to go and plant the trees anyway, wherever there's opportunity. I have a major project in Cedar Peak, very major project, eco project, which is about 2 hours from Cape Town, from South Africa, at the most beautiful, at the most unpolluted. 800,000 8,000 hectares of prime site on the mountaintop. I managed to ask these 5 wealthy sisters. Their family been there a long time and they made fortunes. So they bought this. So I managed to ask them to dedicate this for World Heritage for environment. I want every human beings think less of I, think more of others. We will from now onwards restore the environment. We will cleanse the sea. So I have many young people. I always say, you are my joyful representative. Really smart young people. They're going to look into see how they can clean all the sea under the sea, so they can tidy it up and all this pollution. There's 2, 3 young people. They said that's their commitment. So I am sending 3 layers of different people. Some very young ones say, you're my joyful representative. Mm-hmm. Joyful, follow the path of joyful forgiveness, gratitude, compassion. Nothing can go wrong.
A lot of people that I have met really want to meditate, but find meditation very difficult. What advice do you have for people?
All of you are very wrong. People who are trying to meditate, there's no benefit. You're trying to calm your mind. Calming mind, yes, if you have no other challenge, you may find some calmness. But the minute stress, anger, emotion, that is gone. But if you're able to say, actually, calmness is fine. If you have a calmer means you have a better, like, clear foundation, like less scattered clouds. Then you have to come into the being in the present. When you're in the present, nothing to push, nothing to bring in. This is total solution. So use sometimes calm mind, but then work with the calm mind, how to become good person, how to become kind person. Make sure you don't discriminate, say, this is my family, they're my enemy. There is no enemy in the world. Enemies are our own ignorant. So the minute you think enemy, you say they're your stupidity. You judged.
I think there's a lot of that at the moment. We, even sometimes with our friends, we can see them as the enemy, with people having different political beliefs or different beliefs about what the government are doing or what's happening with COVID. And I'm seeing a lot of people really making each other the enemy, but we need to remember.
So you need to say to them, with a clear head, you will find a solution. With scattered mind, you join with scattered people. Your contribution, your interest does not aid for change of the world better, but you make world things better. So say, my group, that group, this group is right, that group is wrong, because you're judged. So you can see no judgment. It means if you don't judge, forgiveness is something not in your religion, not in your culture, tradition. That's the biggest Christianity fault. So we say Tibetan 5 poisons. We add unforgiveness, another poison, because when you don't forgive, you can never be free from dark frame of mind. You think, okay, I like these people very much, but he or she did something I can never forget. No, I escaped from Tibet. They tortured my father. They have done so much harm to our family, but we learned to forgive all the Chinese people, because Chinese people are not fault policy of ignorant people on the top. I think after finishing this, I'll ask Anilam to give you a program made a long time ago. You watch this, then you can see how independent mind of a very primitive Tibetan mother sentient beings, they are able to rebel against all these thousands of Chinese soldiers marching. 15,000 women in Lhasa come out without nobody organization saying, you go home, this is our country. They have no fear. Yes, they say, you go home. And one of these Kamba, he's a Kamba, is very stubborn, tough woman. They caught her there and they take her back to Kham. 300 of them are put in prison for was 28 years. The more they give them a hard time, more they become joyful. They miss singing songs. But he said she was angry woman. Really, she was so angry. Then when she came to Dharamsala to opportunity to see His Holiness Dalai Lama, His Holiness 3 years walking home saying, Mother, don't get anger. Anger doesn't free you. Anger make very unhappy woman. When you learn to give up the anger, you'll be most joyful, fulfilled human being. She succeeded this, and I think you should watch this. That's the most beautiful. This is all Tibetan women's talking. How independent mind they have. Nobody told them to do this. They don't blame anybody.
Thank you so much for everything that you've shared.
I have said enough. And if anybody like asks you any specific questions, you send me short email. My secretary will answer you.
That's great. Thank you so much for talking to me and sharing your story.
Always to help mother sentient beings. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you very much.